Hi everyone, thank you for coming and welcome to this webinar where I want to take you through Dimension SwifTest's latest feature, Record and Capture. My name is Lee Balsom and I'm the Product Strategy Director at DWS. A little bit of housekeeping, owing to the number of people here, what we won't be doing is doing questions and making it back and forward. It's a one-way street in this webinar, but we will be reaching out for feedback. We really welcome your feedback and I'll talk to that at the very last slide. We thought this new feature warranted an in-person webinar, an introduction, owing to its benefits and its fundamental nature in terms of test script creation. And indeed, it is building on the success of SwifTest, which was first released in 2015 for JD Edwards E1. That was closely followed by support for Oracle Cloud Apps with DS for CA, and then more recently, DS for Salesforce as well. We have a global footprint across the continents and in many countries, and DWS serves leading organizations across key industries, and we're really proud to support a diverse community of clients and hundreds of end users to help you automate your ERP solutions. First, though, a little bit of history. I know that many of you will be familiar with SwifTest, but I wanted to talk briefly about the background of our action-based script handling, the methodology that we used. SwifTest, as you know, uses an action-based script creation model, and that came about really as it's a strength, durability, and easy maintenance blueprint for test script creation, particularly that last part, easy maintenance. You want to be able to maintain your test scripts quickly and simply. And that came about because conventional record and play script technology tends to create brittle tests that are badly affected when change comes along to the underlying ERP. The record part of that process is fine, but when the ERP changes behind the scenes, and that change can occur for one of many reasons, JD Edwards it's quite common. You can have your own modifications, you can have ESUs that are applied to the system, or indeed a code current project, or simply settings that are changed within JD Edwards that alters how the screens perform, what fields are visible, and so on. And when that change occurs, pre-recorded scripts can break, and then are difficult and time-consuming to maintain, which becomes a bit of a problem. Our action-by-action script creation, however, navigates through those user operations within JD Edwards, and as actions are created, it minimizes operational and validation errors. In fact, as actions are created, obviously it is self-validating. And the action process, it enables ongoing script maintenance. That's a really important part, to be able to change, to enhance test scripts as time goes by, as change affects the software. And included in that is the ability to both add new actions, but to also cut, copy, paste for actions or groups of actions for tests, scenarios, or even entire projects. But no software is 100% perfect, and a gap still existed. Action-based models can be more time-consuming to create a script from scratch, and users who are possibly unfamiliar, still going through the learning curve, or unfamiliar with SwifTest, may take more time to work through which actions they need to select in order to control or drive the ERP software. And that can slow things down a little bit as well. So we needed a way of being able to create your test scripts quickly and easily without losing that ease of maintenance ability and the benefits of that. And that leads us to record and capture. With this functionality, with this enhancement, we are taking advantage of AI and the technical advances that brings. So users are able to interact, and their interactions are captured directly in E1 and then translated into SwifTest Actions. So you still have that mitigation of scripting errors, and it significantly reduces the time to create scripts from scratch. We are staying true to our original design principles with the action-based process, and that allows the facilitation of continuing to enhance scripts, to add intermediate actions to scripts after the fact, or indeed to add non-UI related actions to your scripts quite easily. So in short, we've now got the simplicity of recordable script actions with the durability and ease of maintenance of those action-based scripts. It's the best of both worlds. So let's have a look at a demo. It's going to be a brief demo. We're going to keep this meeting nice and short. So here we have Dimension SwifTest client open. I have created a project for this webinar with a scenario called 42 sales orders. I'm sure you're familiar with P4210, sales order maintenance. We're going to use that application to create ourselves a simple sales order under the record and play model. Here I have my test. It is a brand new test, so it is eligible for record and capture. We see no actions in here yet. There are none. So let's go ahead and create actions. Now, I should add that the ability to add actions manually hasn't gone away. It's still absolutely a valid way of using Dimension SwifTest. But the new feature is this record actions button down here. So I'm going to hit the record actions button, and that's going to pop up this, let's call it an interim screen of recorded browser actions. Now, normally, let's first of all, let's sign in here to get that underway. So normally with SwifTest, you are on this side in the DS client screen and controlling the ERP on this side by adding the actions. What we're doing with record and capture is turning that around, turning that on its head. I'm now going to be driving and using JD Edwards E1 on this side to control or to build my test script on this side. This is a dev environment. It's not the quickest environment in the world, but we're going to get there. The only difference between regular JD Edwards E1 is this little stop button here that indicates that I'm in record mode. So normally I'd be driving from this side, controlling E1. Now it's the other way around. So let's go ahead and add our sales order, just as I would do as an end user. I'm going to run a fast path. You see that as I complete these actions, we can see the actions building on the right side in our temporary screen. Okay, it takes us to customer service inquiry. I'm going to hit the add button. Obviously, I'm talking this through, so it's taking me a little longer than normal, but as a user, I would just go ahead and key these values in. Let's order, let's see, one of the bike. This is out of the box JD Edwards data. 2 of those. That'll do. It's a 2-line order. We'll hit the save button. The OK, and in this particular environment, it's asking me for order acceptance. So I'll place the order. That's committed my transaction. Now, like all good test scripts, I'm going to tidy up after myself. I'm going to close out of the screen, close out of the customer service inquiry. And finally, just to really tidy up, is a logout. And that's as difficult as it is. Let's stop recording. I'll exit out. Whoops. I'll exit out of here and hit the save button. Now, this is where AI does its second part of its magic. It's going to take that interim recorded test script and convert it into a SwifTest test script, and there we have it. So there is our test script recorded, which we can now go on to use, run, reuse as often as we like, or indeed move actions around using the normal process, adding new actions to that test. Let's say you add a new form field. It's a mandatory field. You can add an action here. You can move it into the appropriate place in the test in the normal way. So you have that ease of maintenance alongside the record and capture process. Okay. So as a summary, of what we've just seen. This is version 1 of record and capture. We will obviously look at subsequent versions in time, but at the moment it's best suited to script creation using hard-coded values. It is approximately twice as fast as regular script creation. And that's on small to medium length scripts, and it assumes a user who is really, really familiar with SwifTest. Obviously, a less familiar user the speed improvements are that much more. And it's incremental. On larger scripts with a lot more actions that we've just seen, the savings ramp up. They can be a lot quicker. So clearly it's quicker time to value. It's also easier training. You can therefore build your script library faster over more functional areas. It's also a simplified operation. If you know how to use E1, and of course you do, then you can apply end users to create SwifTest test scripts as opposed to, let's say, more experienced power users or functional analysts. So you can create your base scripts with lower cost resource, allowing you to focus your time. The key tests, the more enhanced tests, you can use more experienced people to create those complex test scripts. While I've got you as a captive audience, I thought I'd also just talk to some additional points of interest. By the way, record and capture is available in the software right now. You can use it today. And in our last release, when record and capture was released, we applied some other changes as well. So some other recent advances in SwifTest include AI-driven power search, also available to you today. This is where you are able to type in natural language queries over your own data and scripts. So you can just type in a question to the AI search to say, for example, how many test scripts have I run that have failed in the last 3 weeks? It will go away and think about it for a minute, and then it will come back with an answer also in natural language and the data if that's applicable to your query. We've also implemented self-healing scripts for DS for E1. Previously, if a test broke for certain reasons, field changes on the form, for example, you would have to go and maintain that script. But those certain changes now, if they do change behind the scenes, DS for E1 will self-heal those scripts at execution. So it all does it behind the scenes. It's quite a clever little enhancement. A little while ago, we introduced Swifty, our chatbot. Swifty is there to help you with all your DS-related questions. You just pull them across from the right-hand side, type in your query, and it will do its thing just like a regular chatbot. We have added integration to TestArchitect, our sister product. More work will be being done in this area, but that's to enable you to incorporate tests that perhaps sit outside the borders of JD Edwards as an ERP, calling outside applications, for example. You can add, you used to be able to add one queue to a schedule. You create a schedule to run a queue at a certain date time or at a certain interval. You can now add multiple queues to a single given schedule. And as mentioned earlier, we recently introduced SwifTest for Salesforce. If any of you use Salesforce, then that is available to you as well for automated testing purposes. And finally, coming attractions. This is stuff coming down the pipe in the future. We're looking at DS macros, which is, in other words, subroutines, or the ability for tests to call other tests from within the test as an action. Support for media objects and the attachment manager within JD Edwards. Quite a big one will be the support for importing and exporting DS scripts for portability and external maintenance. We want to be able to track and interrogate E1 error codes. So a test isn't just going to fail if there's an error. You might want it to fail if there's a particular error in E1, in E1 error code. We're definitely pushing more into the AI space, and visual comparison testing is another one that we're looking at and have made definitely some progress into, which is the ability to let's say you may have a test that executes and runs just fine, no problem with the test, but you might be interested in knowing that the screen or the screen image of each action that you took in this execution differs somehow to the previous execution. Being able to compare screens or at the action level. And finally, support for storing and reading the data store repository from a local CSV file, as opposed to what we have currently, or not as opposed to, I'm sorry, in addition to having the repo in the current repository data store within SwifTest. That onboard spreadsheet is how I like to refer to that. And that concludes our webinar. Thank you very, very much, everyone. We hope you found that informative. Please do give Record and Capture a try. It's super easy to use, as you've just seen. We do value your feedback. So your DDoS rep will follow up because we do value your feedback and your ideas. Or indeed, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. Probably the best way is via the support ticket option in the hub. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day wherever you may be in the world. Yeah, cheers.